Hey guys, and welcome to another video from Betfair Trading Community.com with me, your host Martin. I'm at you full screen today. Normally I have a screen share, don't I? But I thought today, because the topic I'm going to do is so important, I really wanted you guys to kind of see me, kind of get the passion coming through from what I'm saying of how important this stuff will be to improve you as a trader. Because today we're going to talk about 5 things that virtually every profitable trader has in common. 5 things that every profitable trader I know does, and probably like 90% of the profitable traders do. Of course, you're going to get someone go, well, I've never done that and I've done all right. But the reality is there's some quite clear trends and certain things to do if you want to become a successful Betfair trader. That's quite well known now. I mean, we've been running Betfair Trading Community.com for 10 years, so we've got kind of a good idea of it, right? We've seen so many people who've gone through the levels, started at rookie and turned pro, and we've seen the process they've gone through. And obviously me, Ryan and Adam, we had our own processes as well, even before Betfair Trading Community. And it's funny that even before that, we still share a lot of things in common with this list, because I feel like this list is really universal. It's not everything. There's probably other things that I've missed where you're like, well, I think all profitable traders do this. But this is going to be a really, really good starting point for everyone. Okay, so let's start with number 1. So number 1, the first thing that came to my mind was that every profitable trader I know has either done mass networking with other successful traders, or they've got coaching. Okay, so they've either done networking or got coaching. Kind of similar things, kind of similar themes. That's why I've grouped this as one thing, because ultimately when you're networking, what you're really doing is you're kind of training yourself by being around other people either in a similar situation or ideally people who are better than you at trading, and you're learning from them. You're connecting with them, you're sharing ideas together, you're sharing ideas for strategies, you're sharing things that you've noticed from your time trading, certain trends you've noticed. And what I've noticed is that people who do this are much more likely to be successful as traders. Now, the good thing with Betfair Trading Community.com is that obviously the networking and coaching go hand in hand. And being part of the community, you're doing the networking already, just being on the forum and interacting there, but also obviously you're getting the coaching from me and Ryan, also other traders who will answer lots of questions and do it just as well as we do, if not better. And what's incredible is that actually it's just a place where we see people grow and develop all the time. And I think this is one of the big things. If you want to become a successful Betfair trader, you need to be growing and developing all the time. A lot of people either think they can do it all in a day, like I'm just going to grow up all in a day and learn everything about Betfair trading, or people learn a little bit, then they kind of go, well, it's all right, I know what I'm doing now, I'm a profitable trader, I don't need to bother to learn or speak to anyone else anymore. And then they end up coming back and trying to actually learn how to trade again and get some more coaching. So that's a really, really important one. And like I say, everyone who I've seen turn to a professional trader has done this to some degree. Okay, and actually I'll just use a quick example from my personal life, because obviously the coaching I got was before Betfair Trading Community. It didn't exist when I was younger and I was trying to become a good trader. And one of mine was one of my best friends, Lewis Gia, his dad basically was a professional trader or gambler, whatever, and he used to give me advice on things. And a couple of nuggets of great information he gave me. One was talking about betting, always going against the crowd. Don't just do what all the rest of the crowd are doing, because most of that crowd are unprofitable. And just some absolute gems he used to give me in terms of advice. One of them was pricing up things myself before I actually look at a match, thinking about what odds I would give, and then comparing those two to see if they're way off, and if they are, is there a value trading opportunity there? Okay, number 2. All traders do this, and you might get one who says, oh no, I've never done this and I do really well. Okay, maybe, but 99% of traders and virtually everyone I know who's profitable on Betfair does this. They plan their trades before they enter the market. They set things up in the day, maybe in the morning, something like that, but they set their day up and they plan their trading. Why do they do this? Well, they don't necessarily always plan their exit point, although many of them do. But what they're really planning, what they're doing is they're looking at where's the value? Where's the value in this situation? What am I looking at here? I need to prepare for my trading. Otherwise, all that's going to happen, and this is something I do not see successful traders doing. I'm just going to go and enter a random market and place a random trade. I'm just going to go really off piste, and I don't know anything about the Colombian second division, but that's the only match on right now, so I'm going to go and trade it. Successful traders don't do that. They plan out their day. They have a short list of games, especially if you're thinking about it in terms of football. They might plan out which matches they're going to trade. If you're talking about horse racing, they might plan what races they're going to trade on. More specifically, they're probably looking at what horses they're going to trade. So that's what all successful traders do, and I really believe that. And again, you might get the odd exception, but the truth is that there is a massive trend that shows if you plan your trading, you are much more likely to be a successful trader. Again, another fact there. Number 3, and this is really important, they have a long-term plan. So a lot of the guys who we've seen start from rookie level and go on to become pro, they'll come into betfairtradingcommunity.com and they'll say, I've got 2 years, I'm going to learn it all properly, I'm going to test properly, I'm going to start by paper trading, not putting money on, and I'm really going to learn and understand the game that I'm in. I love it when people say that, because I know that there's a good chance that person is going to become a successful long-term trader. When I hear someone come in and say, yeah, I've got a month, and if I don't make X amount in a month, I'm done, it kind of breaks my heart, because I know that person isn't going to last. They're not going to be a trader, because the reality is that you can't just go, well, I need X amount and I'm going to do this straight away. That's not how anything is. Let's be honest. How many good things in life did you achieve instantly? How many good things in life did you work really hard towards? For me, it's the ladder by a mile. So that's the long-term plan. That's number 3. Number 4. They test their strategies. Okay. Now, they might not always test for no money. They might start with smaller stakes. But every successful trader I know has tested their strategies first. They haven't just gone, well, I've got 10 grand, I'm going to be placing, 500 quid per trade, per bet, and I'm just going to go with it because, I think this should work. They test a strategy to see if it works before they put their money on. The reason they do this is that they're protecting their money. It's much more important that you protect your money as a trader than you just trade loosely. Right? And I would say the people who are protective of their money, and almost to an extent of, think of someone, if we take this to a real world example, think of someone who's really tight with their money, and I could probably be in some ways put in that category, right? The reason that that's good for trading is that you end up only getting invested when you think there's an investment opportunity. Because I know someone who's tight with their money is not going to part with it loosely. They're not just going to go, oh, well, I don't know, this Colombian second division game's on. I've already said I need to make £100 this month or I'm out. And it's the last day of the month and I'm only 50 quid up. So I need to make 50 quid here. I know what I'll do. I'll put 250 quid on a second half goal to win that 50 quid. The amount of times people do that and you just think, test your strategies, because it's what works. Right? Again, all these things are things that we've seen work for people time and time and time again. I haven't just come up with these, and they weren't even hard to come up with, because the reality is we've just seen it in action so often over the last decade of BetfairTradingCommunity.com, and we're going to go into the final one. And every trader who's successful that I know of uses statistics in their research before they trade. Okay? every trader I know of who's successful. And you might go, oh, well, I know so and he doesn't use statistics. Really? So he doesn't check any match history or anything about the teams? See, the thing is, people think of checking statistics and they think, oh, well, he went and looked at how many over 2.5 goals there were in X, Y, and Z. No. Anything you're doing where you're researching a match, you're essentially using statistics, right? So basically, this is another way of saying every trader I know researches the events they're going to trade before they trade them. And again, like I say, you might get an exception or someone who really says, I literally use no stats, and that's fine. If that's how they make their money, that's fine. What I've noticed is that trend isn't sustainable. That might be 1 in 100 traders who end up being profitable that way. The reality is you're much, much more likely to become a successful trader by using statistics in your research and actually looking for trends. Right, my sister's a data analyst for like a really good company. I actually found out the other day she worked on the automation for the robotic surgery, AI or whatever they use for that, right? Way above my pay grade kind of stuff. But the reason that a job like hers is so in demand, the reason that data analysts make so much money, the reason that they are so important is that statistics govern pretty much everything, right? And it's exactly the same with trading. So, how many surveys do you get asked to do a year? How many surveys do you hear about? How many times do you get asked your opinion? How many times you get asked to leave a review? All of these statistics you're probably using in your daily life a lot more than you realize, are so important in trading. And so if anyone ever says to me, oh, well, I don't use statistics, I wince a bit because I'm like, I don't think you're going to last long, right? And the thing is, again, it's not something that you would want to coach someone on. I wouldn't want to coach someone and say, don't use data, don't use evidence, don't use science. Just try and watch a match and, try and ignore your bias. I don't know if that's what you'd have to tell someone to do. Even if they could ignore their bias, just trying to rely on your eyes to make decisions when actually when you watch the flow of sport, it can be so up and down. But you'll notice that when you study pre-match, you'll see a trend like you go, well, this team scores quite a lot of late goals. And then they start the second half slowly and you think, oh, I don't think I'll enter this trade. They look a bit like they're not going to score. And then they score and you go, oh, why did they score? I didn't think they were going to. Because often you'll notice that pre-match research trumps what you're looking at that moment. Because that's just the nature of sport. And we know that teams follow certain patterns, follow certain trends, and that's just how sport works. But these are 5 things that I feel really will improve you as a trader, that are why so many traders have success, and we've seen it time and time again. So number 1, they get coaching or they network with other traders. Number 2, they plan their trades before they enter. Number 3, they have a long-term plan. Number 4, they test their strategies. And number 5, they use statistics for research. Fortunately, all of these things can be done on betfairtradingcommunity.com. So if you really want to get a head start, or you really want to get ahead of the curve and you're not already a member, then you should check it out. You should try it out. I always say to everyone, you should at least try it out once, because you'll never know what you're missing otherwise, and you may miss out on a genuine opportunity to create a path for yourself to create your own income, which is just, it's such a magical thing when it happens for you. And I really want other people to have that as well, because I see so many people slogging away in their job, just selling themselves for their hours, selling themselves per hour, and even just physically how demanding that can be. But yeah, like I say, there's clear pathways here, and the reason that betfairtradingcommunity.com has all this stuff ready for you to become a super trader isn't because we're magic and we just magically were able to create all this. It's because we've seen the pathway over and over again over the last decade, and we've worked with traders, we've seen what works and what doesn't, and we keep developing our training based around that. And that's what's so exciting, that we're actually always improving every week. So it's funny, because I had a member the other day, and he'd been a member a few years ago, then he came back and went, oh my god, the service is so different, it's so much better, it's a totally different service. And I said, yeah, because we're changing every week. We're doing things to improve the service every week. We meet every week, me, Ryan and Adam, and we hash out how can we make this better. And no matter how much positive feedback we get from everyone, we can always improve, and that's what we'll always be doing week to week. So if you want to become the best trader you can be, just head over to betfairtradingcommunity.com. Come join me. I really want you to be part of the family. It's so great. I love it. I love it there. It really does feel like a sense of community and family. And I hope you all have a great week, guys. I hope you have a great week, and most importantly, I hope you make some money trading on Betfair.